Hi, this is Christina from Treasure Books of Georgia, and I am here with my 38th journal to do a flip through for you. A little bit of housekeeping. She's 9 inches long and about 6.5 inches wide with a 3-inch spine. There are 192 pages, front and back, and there are 3 signatures. All right, just let's stay on the spine for just a second. The dangle is made from eyelash lace and glass beads and pretty shades of gray and white, which matches the cover of the book. It is removable, just in case that gets in your way. She's held together. This is a piece of cloth that I got from the vintage store. Thrift store, and I think it's probably vintage, but it's just woven through one of the signatures. You can take it off completely if you want. The front, this is printed on muslin, and I'm sorry, it is not. You can see little bits of white, so I think this was a tablecloth, and I upcycled it to print on it. And then this is just a beautiful piece of lace that just kind of adorns the side. It's placed on a little bit of white tulle, and I just left it that way because I just think it's just so pretty. I didn't put any kind of placards or anything on the front. The back, I also left that plain. It's just shades of gray, white, and beige, which is kind of the topic for our journal. There are 4 the corner protectors there. Okay, let's get started. And she's quite fluffy. As I mentioned, there are 3 signatures, and each one of them is enclosed in kind of this grayish cardstock, and then I embossed it with a silver to kind of match the material a little bit. So right here in the front pocket, we have, this is just my logo for my Etsy shop, and this was created in October. It's actually September and October 2025, and then you've just got a little journaling card there. And this is just a note with this beautiful lace down the side. Here you just have a journaling card. There's lots of butterflies and botanicals throughout this journal. This is held together with just a piece of lace, or a lace that goes across, making a belly band. It says dream, and then I believe both of these are from Tim Holtz, just little pieces of ephemera, and I think you can journal on the back of both of those. Here I took a leftover piece of vellum and sewed, and then put a page from a notebook, or not from a notebook, from a journal. Oh my gosh, sorry, from an actual book. I don't know what's wrong with my mouth today. And I just sewed it together. And then this is just a piece of ephemera. You can journal on that. I like to do a lot of mixed media. So this is from, I believe this is watercolor. So you could probably activate this if you want. And it's just in this little belly band that is from Tim Holtz. And I've done something similar to this on one of my other journals, but I thought it was so pretty. So you've got butterflies. This is texture paste, and kind of looks like it's a tattoo on her neck. We've got a triple pocket. This is from one of the, I believe it's probably Academia from my porch prints. And you've got 3 pockets here. So we'll start with the top, and it's a journaling card there. And then here, and I did a little bit of collaging on that. And the same with here. This one comes out, and it just says relic notes. And then there's lots of coffee dyed paper throughout. And this, I did obviously some stenciling on, and I think this might be cheesecloth. I'm trying to remember what I did. And then you've got lots of mixed media here, and it says, is there something in your own rearview mirror worth going back for? And then you've got places to journal on the back. I'll put that there, and it's a pretty big pocket, so you can put things in there if you want. I'll put that back in a second. And I took some of the digitals and resin them and created charms. And then you've got some, this matches I guess it's kind of an aqua color, but you've got some modeling paste down the side here. And then this is printed on newsprint. I just love the feel of that. And again, another piece, and I'm not sure, it might be muslin that I dyed and then did some paste on. And again, some more ephemera, not antique, but kind of cool. And then you've got plenty of places to journal. Okay. And then really pretty black lace down the side. And again, a little bit of mixed media here to kind of match what's happening here. The compass, looks like compass. Here you've got, this says inspire, and you've got a journaling card there, and then just some stenciling and mixed media here. And this beautiful piece of lace, I probably Hobby Lobby is where I got that. Is certainly not vintage. And then you've got a journaling card there, and I did some stamping there, so you can add notes if you'd like. But I love that lace. I think it's so pretty. And that just slides right back in there. And again, more mixed media, like she's got tattoos on her neck. And this I did some printing on, again, on some muslin and a couple of journaling cards. Again, these are not vintage, but they match and they're pretty. Again, and I left a lot of the pages that are blank so that you can add anything that you would like. Again, another gorgeous piece of lace. I just love that. I think it matches this digital. Oh, most, if not all, the digitals come from Creative Fabrica. And this, just a little thing that says, for happy life, walk barefoot whenever you can, learn to love your time alone, turn the page you're stuck on, expand your story. And I just did some little stamping on that. And there's plenty of places, plenty of room for you to journal. And I'll put that back in a minute. And here I took some digitals and just kind of narrowed them down a little bit, reduced them, I think, added some bits of lace, and there's just lots of journaling space for you. And in the center, brimmed with confidence. And this piece came off similar to the tie that binds our journal together. And this says, believe in yourself. The center is printed on thick vellum. And I just think she's just absolutely gorgeous. And here you've just got a couple of feathers that I have found in my yard. And then this cute little, a bunch of little, I'm not quite sure, we'll just call it ephemera there. I just think it's just so pretty. I love this little feather there. And then I created, and I believe this might be from Gina, the feathers, the fancy feathers. And then this is a journaling card on the back of that fits right into these little feathers that have been stained, sprayed and dyed. And this a piece of vellum that I did some spraying on, and then we've got a little feather there. And then I believe this is a vintage stamp. I'll try to find some information on that. I had it at one time, but it's probably actually antique. And then I took the stamps and created this card, and you can either use it to journal on or you can mail it out to somebody. But I just thought that turned out really, really pretty. And she goes back in that pocket, and I'll do that in a second. Here, and this is a vintage postcard, and I wrote the information down because I knew I wouldn't remember it. But this is St. Malo walled port city on the Emerald Coast in Brittany, France in the 20th century. And this is an actual vintage postcard that came out of my mother-in-law's storage shed. And this was in the World War II journal, if I'm not mistaken, or where they kept the postcards. But I wanted to make sure that I wrote down what it was exactly. Put that back. Here, again, more printing on material, just some vintage typewriters in here that you can journal on or put somewhere else in the journal if you like. And it says just a note. And then you've got a little vintage keyboard there. And we'll put our little typewriters back. I just think that came out nice. And then I just is some embossing. And then these are, of course, they're not antique, but pieces of ephemera that are actual postcards in each one. And then another took some of the digitals and turned it into a charm and resined them. And here on her dress, I added a little bit of lace and then a little butterfly charm. And another charm, lots of charms. And again, I kept most of these pages blank so that you could add your own whatever you wanted. This is printed on vellum and all kinds of ephemera in there and in here. And then this just says Dream. It's embossed in copper, embossing powder. Again, the other part of the newsprint. A little corner pocket here, and I did some collaging, and that's a little pocket you can write on that tag. Excuse me. And again, some more of the papers that I've dyed. And this, I had fun doing this, so I tried to mimic what was happening on this digital over here. And it was actually a lot of fun. So you've got a pretty good pocket here that has, there's a little pocket or a little belly band in the front, and you've got some ephemera and some places that you can journal on in the little envelope there. And then you on the side, so this is actually a place for you to add stuff there, and it's just, I think this is just a butterfly piece of ephemera that slides in here. And then this is just a place for a journaling card here. So all kinds of things that you can do with this, but I liked how it came out. I think it kind of matched. It was kind of fun. And this is ending the first signature. It says Sending Love. Our second one is saying Be Your Beautiful Self. And I used the same lace that I did on the first one. And right here, I added some, I believe they're from 49 and Market, some of the rub-ons, I believe. And here you have, if only there could be an invention that bottled up a memory like a scent, and it never faded and it never got stale. And then you've got places to journal on the back of that. And then, I apologize, in the front here, you've got a little journaling card. I believe that's a Tim Holtz in that little pocket. And here, this is from a previous journal material I used, Follow Your Bliss, and you can journal on the back of that. And then there's a couple other, here we go. This is, both of these are from Tim Holtz, but I liked the little note here that says Victorian Mood, and she kind of looked like she was in a Victorian mood. Here we've got a little pocket, and I used some of the material from another project that I had done, and I love the little wooden button. And inside you've got 2 journaling cards in there, but I just thought that was just so gorgeous. And that just fits very nicely over that little belly band. And this, with her dress, I decided to kind of dress it up. So I just took pieces of tulle and then little silver dots that I had and just dressed up her dress. This is a vintage, I don't know, I guess just crochet that I did some dyeing on it. It says All That I Know. And then there's a little journaling card tucked up inside. And here, again, this is maps, and then this is just a maps, the world, and then a vintage typewriter. Let's see, Remember This Moment, and then I did some collaging on this particular tag, and it fits in there very nicely. And again, Our Lady with her tattoo up her neck. Again, this is printed on newsprint. And I left the pages blank. Some more mixed media along the side here. And then this says, Life is a Beautiful Ride. And you've got, this is actually vintage from 57, for a postcard, or for the post office, and then a piece of handmade paper. And then I did some collage. This is Tim Holtz collage, but you can use that for a journaling card. And then another piece of the muslin that I have stamped and dyed. Excuse me. And then our center is just newsprint. I apologize. Ooh, I am so sorry. My throat gets dry doing this. So this is printed on thick vellum. And I love this. So this is similar material to the tie down the side. A little thing that says Lace and Linen in a little material pocket, and you've got a couple of pieces of or things that you can journal on here. Okay. And this was just a piece of lace, I believe, off of a dress that I upcycled. It says create with your heart. And then you've got a little journaling notebook here, little miniature one, some handmade paper there, and then just places for you to journal. And you can also untie this and add more paper if you want. And that just goes, I just made a little pocket out of that lace. I thought it was so pretty. And then over here, I carried it over here. And then this, I think this is from scrapbook.com. It says, I craft so hard, I sweat glitter. And I just turned it into a little journaling card. And we've got another one of the kind of that grays and blacks charm. And this was, so I printed this on regular paper, then I waxed it and turned it into a very huge journaling card. And it fits very nicely in a little pocket here. This is, I took some material and sprayed it and dyed it. Thought it was pretty. And this is, again, newsprint. Excuse me, this was a photo thing that I got at a thrift store, and I turned it into this. It says Rustic Romance. And you can open it up, and these are cards that I also got at a thrift store. Excuse me, savor each day for the gift that it is. So you can journal on that. And then each one of these has a little pocket, and some of it has some places for you, a journaling card for you to use, and a tag. And on each one of them, and then you've got a whole place down there. And I think I had an extra, I believe that probably goes in there. I'll make sure that I put it back in there. And it all tucks into this little button, and it folds down. I love that. I think that turned out lovely. Another a sepia card, and this is a dragonfly on the side here, and you've got 2 cards that you can journal with. And I think this is a Tim Holtz one. And again, more paper. I just used some faux, not really pearls, but edging. I thought that turned out very pretty. And then here at the back, I just added some of the 49 and Market, some of their rub-ons. And it says Timeless Memories. And then I took, these are, not bougainvillea, but, I can't think of it. Hydrangea. There you go. Hydrangeas that I dried. And then I put some modeling paste over it and added a little bit of glitter. And then this is, I know you guys have probably seen this before, We Are Gatherers, the one who pick up sticks and stones. And there's places for you to journal on the back. And that just goes right in here. And that brings us to the end of the second one. It says Big Hugs. Blessed are the curious. I hope that I'm not taking too long. This is vellum that I've put over a cardstock, and I'll just leave this for the next person for the person who purchases it to figure, I apologize, for the person that buys it, for them. And you can journal on the back of that. Woo, my mouth today is not working. And then I just did some embossing there. And this I got at the thrift store, and inside here, sepia toned emotions. And you've got a little card in that there, and some, I think I did some sprays and dyes on that. So each one of those, or each one of them, you can journal on or journal with these little tags. Again, a little bit more of the vellum, and you've got some collage here, and I think I did some glossy accents here. And then a couple of cards there. And this, I believe, is, I want to say, oh yes. So this is an original print that I did off my gel plate. I'm learning how to do that. And I thought it turned out really, really pretty. This I just did with just regular stamps, but this is on the gel plate. And then there's places for you to journal on it if you would like. And that just goes right in that little pocket. And you've got a place for a little journaling space here, and then a card. This might be, yes, it is, an envelope that right now is empty, but I will put something in there. Or I might leave it blank. I don't know, but I'll probably put something in there. And again, this is Journal 38. The other part of that, mixed media, and then a couple pieces of card that you can journal with. And then this, I cut this from a piece of cardstock, And there you've got a little journaling tag. Oh, you've got 2 journaling tags there, and a little note that says 1840. And this was my favorite thing to do. This is her little dress. I just added this tulle and then added some cutouts to kind of fancy up her dress. I just think that came out. It was really fun. I really like that. This was another from the gel print that I had done. And then this is just a postcard, and I don't know the date. Oh, there it is, 1983. I just thought it kind of matched the little bit of olive green that we have going on with both the gel print and the digital. And then I just did some spraying of some cutout leaves and left that page blank. And this, I did the cutout for the little butterfly and did this with acetate over this. And then you've got a little journaling card inside. I took the piece of vellum and just turned it into just a little mini journal here. And then this came from a 1973, how to price your antique. So there's a page from that. And I just use this as a little tuck spot, and that's a little journaling card there. Oops, the ring keeps getting caught. And then this is printed on newsprint. And then this is actually from an antique hymnal, and I just kind of made it, dressed up her little dress with that page. I think I want to say it was a 1947 music book. Ooh, beautiful lace, love that. You've got a little charm there. Again, left that page blank. And I didn't do much on her dress, just added a little bit of lace. You've got a little tuck spot here. It says, "With brave wings she flies." And then this, I got this from the thrift store, just kind of a little crystal thing. And this opens up a letter through time. And there are 2 letters in here from, I believe, I believe this was in the 1970s. Both of these letters that are tucked in these little envelopes. Oh, and then this is from actual ledger page, and that was from the 1950s. So you've got both of those. And then I did some stamping with some copper embossing powder. And here is our center. Beautiful lace from India. It says kindness, and then this is a whole journaling card. And another part of the newsprint. And then this, I just had fun with these little crystals and then glossy accents that are in black, just to have fun. A little card here, it says, "At night, all poetry is remembered." And this is on newsprint. Did more of the mixed media, believe in yourself, and you can journal on the back of that. And just did some collage here. And then there's another charm, or dangle, I guess. Dressed up her dress a little bit, added a little bit of dyed trim that I got off of a dress, and added the little beads there. And then you've got a little journaling card there. And here, again, this was printed on vellum, and I did some dyeing on this. And then you've got all kinds of ephemera in there. Butterflies, took the butterflies and sprayed them, and then I did some stamping over them. So each one of them is a little tuck spot. Silent words for a quiet heart, butterfly beauty, and then botanical atlas, all in those little butterflies. Use that lace that you saw on the front. I had a little bit extra and did that. And then use the cutout butterflies for a little edging. And this, a little corner pocket and a little bit of the leftover edging I had. And this is so many of us have abandoned ourselves many times over. We've done things that others wanted us to do. And I think this is just really pretty. We've looked for external validation in order to know where we stand in the world. And then there's places for you to journal on the back. And that fits right in there. Little corner pocket here. This just is a little definition of cloud, and there's one of our little leftover butterflies. Oh, that's just a tag, and then there's a little journaling tag right there, and leftover from something that I had done. And then we've got a couple of letters from 1947 that are tucked in here. And we're almost to the end. I picked up a little bit of blue here. It says, "Believe you can," and you're halfway there. Life is short and the world is wide. Because there's a little bit of blue here on this. And you've got something there and a little something there. And at the very end, vintage vibes. And you've got a little journaling tag here and a couple of pieces. This is a Tim Holtz one, and then just a regular journaling card there. Oh my gosh, thank you so much for watching. And one final thing, as I include in most of my journals, I think all of my journals, is a writing board, front and back, so that you can write on the paper without kind of poking through. And then I have some extra pieces of ephemera that I'll also include. Thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate you. And this will be listed in my Etsy shop. Thank you and have a great week. Bye.